Okay, everybody. Hello. Happy Friday. Nobody's in chat. Did I get everything set up right? Wow. Lucy, you're the first one today. You get a gold star. Oh, you're still at work? We're going to have a long show tonight. There's nothing really on TV tonight. No games. Well, none of my games. And plus, it's Friday and the week. I don't know if everybody's going to be taking off all next week or not. But I got a big lineup tonight. I'm all rested up. Stayed home all day today. We just had some flurries a little bit ago. I'm a little bit early. Yeah, they said, Carol, that they're not going to release all of them. They're going to wait a few weeks. There's a percentage that they're going to be. We'll go there first thing. And when we get everybody in there, we'll check it out. That's why I'm coming on early. A lot of stuff going on. Get a big show in tonight before everybody goes for Christmas. You beat Ann and Tim tonight, Carol. Wow, that's a first. And Dave decided to come in not working. So yeah, Dave, we're gonna have a long show tonight since everybody's gonna be busy all this week. But I'll be on. I'll probably just do an hour over the weekend. But I'll come on for a little bit. Every day all the way to Thursday. I'll take the Thursday off. Going to my sister's everything. One of my nephews and a soldier, not Brandon, but the other one, they're coming down from Kansas City. He's stationed there. Brandon is staying home this year. KK, you won't believe who's first today. Our Lucy's first. Ann should be in here. I don't know where she's at. I haven't heard yet if they got it. I haven't talked to neither one of them yet. I'll talk to them next week and see if they got it or not. Bless you, Chico. Bless you. You have a good nap, Chico? Oh, you're tired, huh? Huh? Ariella all winding down, okay? I think JRL is going to be talking about the Epstein, but the American Free guy is talking about it right now. So we'll go look there first for about 5 minutes, see what's going on, and then we'll get you the intel. You know, Kimberly, Terry, and Dragonfly, and Coolbee, and everybody else. We'll have a big show tonight. Oh, every night. And what do you want, Chico? Huh? What do you want? You want treats, don't you? Yeah. See, hopefully we'll get everybody in here. And y'all satisfaction made it on time. That's good. Yep. I was the chosen one 5 years ago. I'm happy what I got. I got over 1 million views and got my channel back with the 1,960 subs. I did have over 2,000, but we got the big channel back. I can't get monetized, so oh well. I get a little donations now and then. Lucy and Karen, all the. Hey, Mike. I've been playing that one older ladies. Are you the one that was sending me their videos? Oh yeah, Paul and other ones too. Not in yet. I got some parts. I got like 4 on each side on both of them today. Oh, Chico, Chico. I think you had enough. I think you had enough. You go chew on your bones. Go chew on your bones. Okay. You don't need no more. Hopefully, Kimberly and Terry and all the rest of everybody will be in. Lisa, hope will be in. So we'll go ahead and get the update before we do the intel on all the breaking news. God dang it. Oh, and Trump is speaking here shortly also. North Carolina. Long commercial. You're fine. God, how many commercials are there?
Right now are these members of Congress have pushed hard for this. They're going through these documents to see exactly if their vision of what compliance looks like matches what we see and what's come out of this early release of these documents. And I think there's right now a kind of divide on Capitol Hill as to how much space they're going to give the Department of Justice to get into compliance. We saw Ro Khanna, who's one of the authors of the legislation, say, let's give them some time here. They say they're going to do what they're going to do. If they don't get everything out today, as long as they get everything out, that'll be okay. But then you saw Robert Garcia, who's the ranking member of the Oversight Committee, along with Jamie Raskin, the ranking member of the Judiciary Committee, take those words we saw from Todd Blanche earlier today, that they weren't going to release everything today, and already declare them not in compliance. So this is a really important part of this puzzle, is what does compliance look like? How do you determine that? And if there is the perception that they aren't complying, what are the consequences associated with? And I think that's going to be one of the big storylines that plays out here over the next couple of days.
I think you're absolutely right, Ryan. And as our colleagues sift through all of this paperwork, I want to read a statement from Maria Farmer, one of the Epstein survivors. This was a statement released today prior to the start of the release of the document. She says, "This is a moment for which I have waited 3 decades, over half my life. When I was ignored and hung up on by the FBI in 1996, my world turned upside down and I felt frozen in time. I faced death threats, ridicule, and mockery by some of the most powerful people on earth. When my FBI reports are finally made available, I am hopeful that I will be able to pick up where I left off at age 26. I am also hopeful that this will be an important step for many of the survivors and to hold the government accountable for their grotesque law enforcement failure, one of the largest in U.S. history." Again, the statement today coming just before this release of the Epstein files, which has now started to come in. Ryan, let me go back to you, because the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein played a large role in this push that we saw on Capitol Hill to make this day possible, to push these papers out into the public.
Kristen, I don't think that you can overstate the amount of impact that the Epstein survivors and victims had in making this day a reality. They were apolitical. They reached out to Republicans and Democrats. They reached out to journalists, many of them speaking to us at NBC News. And they did so under very courageous and very difficult circumstances. As we've already seen, there are very, very powerful men who are that were connected to this controversy and this scandal. And in many different ways, these survivors had their livelihoods threatened, their actual lives threatened. And obviously, they went through the pain and trauma of the experience as well. So it took a lot for them to come forward, put their names and faces.
Okay, we'll come back and get an update on it when we get some more news on it. I couldn't.
The attack on Bondi Beach was 2 days ago, 12/15. Count 10 days from then is Christmas. What if there's multiple 10 days of darkness? QPost 88, 10 days, darkness, scare tactics MSM. What if we're in the final 10 days of darkness and it ends on Christmas? It's always darkest before the dawn, like the Batman movie. It was an attack on a beach, like when we stormed the beaches of Normandy on 6/6. Take the sixes, flip them upside down, that's 9/9. What if this was a marker, like QPost marker 9, like Pam Bondi, Pam, Think Mirror, Map, QPost 365, News Unlocks Map, Extraction, QPost 101, Map, Extraction, 11/6 TP Pub. What if TP is Tina Peters? What if Tina Peters created a map of the election fraud and she's working with Sidney Powell to show who it's all connected to? I mean, attack on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. Sidney Powell equals release the Kraken. The truth about the election fraud. The preview of Melania's film was released today. It shows her in the elevator pushing the floor number 66, like the date of D-Day, 6/6. 6 plus 6 is 12. What if D-Day, the final 10 days of darkness, is in December? 6 plus 6 is 12. QPost 2629, D-Day Patriots, we will have our country back. Posted on December 19th. Look closely at December 19th this year. The interstellar comet 3I Atlas makes its closest approach to Earth on December 19th. Sky event, QPost 1183. Connect, learn, Sky event. 2016 election, like Tina Peters. What if the 3I Atlas comet is the Sky event? And what if we all connect to the quantum satellites in the EBS and learn about the election fraud that Tina Peters risked her life to collect and is working with Sidney Powell to release the Kraken? What if we are in the final 10 days of darkness? And what if D-Day is Christmas? We will have our country back, Patriots.
How was that one, you guys? We haven't played her in a while. Okay, the next one is 15, but I don't think I played this one.
Both the Disuela variety and Sal Mache Mixe stores had one register, no carriages, no hand baskets, and very little food for sale. One legitimate supermarket in the same area as these stores redeems approximately $80,000 in SNAP benefits per month.
I can't reset it. I'll go back to that one. Yeah.
An impartial adjudicator of justice, but instead a vile partisan who is there to probably break the law or bend the law for their own political will. And this is exactly why Kash Patel posted this all-time banger, "No One Is Above the Law," showing a judge that needed multiple handcuffs in order to get her hands behind her back, getting arrested by the FBI after this judge had demonstrable evidence against her that she assisted in the hiding of an illegal alien, the smuggling of a criminal alien away from ICE. This was happening inside of her own courthouse. Again, this post, man, this thing did well. 40 million views, 32,000 likes, 250,000 likes. Here we go. Wisconsin Judge Hannah Dugan seen sneaking illegal migrants out of the court after distracting ICE agents, new video shows. You can see here, obviously, there's cameras in the courthouse, you idiot. These are our judges, right? She's not aware that there are cameras everywhere inside of the court. But here you can see this is the judge using her own judge's quarters in order to sneak out criminal aliens. And then she went out to yell and scream at the ICE agents. These are plainclothes ICE agents. She went out to then berate them, distract them, and send them the wrong way. Wisconsin judge indicted for allegedly helping illegal immigrant evade authorities, seen confronting immigration officers shortly before directing the migrant towards a private exit out of the court, newly released footage shows. Milwaukee County Judge Hannah Dugan is seen in her black robes speaking to federal agents who were reportedly there to arrest Eduardo Flores, a Mexican national facing 3 charges of domestic battery. The judge defended the woman abuser. Do you understand the timeline we're living in? The video released in Milwaukee through the open records request is part of evidence in the case against Dugan. Prosecutors say obstructed federal investigation. And now, ladies and gentlemen, every one of these stories has such a happy ending.
What's the numbers
At least
again, you guys?
the ones that we like to cover. Jury finds Judge Hannah Dugan
there.
guilty of obstruction, helping immigrant evade federal agents. So she has been found guilty. Ladies and gentlemen, the judge now will be sentenced by another judge. Let's read. Jury found Wisconsin judge helping Mexican immigrant dodge federal authorities guilty of obstruction, marking a victory for Donald Trump as he continues his sweeping immigration crackdown on the country. Federal prosecutors charged Milwaukee County Circuit Hannah Dugan with obstruction and felony and concealing an individual to prevent arrest, a misdemeanor, in April. The jury acquitted her on concealment count, but she still faces 5 years in prison on the obstruction count. Ooh. The jury returned its verdict after deliberating for 6 hours. That is not long. Dugan faces up to 5 years in prison. She's sentenced. No date yet set for her sentencing. The case inflamed tensions over Trump's immigration crackdown, administration branding Dugan as an activist judge, and a Democrat countering the administration was trying to make an example of Dugan. Throw judges in prison. Well, they're criminals. They're guilty of obstruction.
People who have a lot of credit card debt can be thankful for this. There's something called financial hardship that allows Americans.
These are federal laws.
4 minutes.
She broke federal immigration laws. 5 years in prison. The entire internet is celebrating this. Remember Milwaukee judge? She's now facing 5 years in prison. Never forget, Democrats defended her. There she is. What a hobgoblin. Something that is profound in this story that always struck me was you get people like Hannah Dugan, who are these left-wing aging liberal white women who never had kids or aborted their kids. And they, however, cannot get rid of the compunction to nurture something, to be a mother, right? To be a parent, to be someone who is in a capacity taking care of an individual. And so even though they don't have kids of their own, they have to project that onto something else in society. And what white left-wing liberals are doing is projecting that onto criminal aliens. There's this entire class, like migrant class, and there's this white savior complex that goes along with it. There's this migrant class that these women are constantly protecting and screaming and committing crimes in order to protect. And it's really sick. It's pathological. They are obviously destroying themselves in the process. She'll be going to prison for this monster. Look at this. This monster. And so instead of defending her own children, which is like my instinct, right? Like I'll defend my own children against anything. Instead of defending your own children, she's out defending this monster for political purposes, because that has replaced the part of her soul where a child would normally be. where a son or a daughter or her own family should occupy. Instead, it's replaced by this monster, a serial domestic abuser from Mexico. Guilty of obstruction, she blocked federal agents from arresting an illegal alien who entered the U.S. twice, had a violent criminal history. He has been deported, and Dugan now faces 5 years behind bars. Man. Found guilty. Let's go. They always look like this, too. Physiognomy is undefeated. They always look like this as well. They're always like grotesque. There's something just broken in the human spirit. I mean, listen, feminism failed. The re-engineering of the family failed. God's design is better. And these people who have made these decisions are living a tortured and perilous life. They are living a meaningless and horrible existence. And that causes them to act out like this, right? And this completely disturbed and sick pathology that says these criminal aliens, the refuse of the third world, they're actually my children. No, sick. Here's Todd Blanche, the DOJ. Former Wisconsin judge Hannah Dugan betrayed her oath by the people as she served and obstructed federal law enforcement during an immigration enforcement operation. Today, a federal judge of her peers found her guilty and sent a clear message. The American people respect law and order. Nobody is above the law. The department will not tolerate obstruction. They will enforce federal immigration law and hold criminals into account, and those who wear the robes, especially. Thank you to the men and women who keep us safe. We will always protect you. It's great. Justice. Courtroom sketch. She does not look happy. So let's see what she gets, right? Let's see what she gets. 5 years in jail. Nobody is above the law. Remember, nobody is above the law. Nobody's above the law. Wow, says Elon Musk. Hannah Dugan found guilty, facing 5 years. Don't mess with God's design, These the criminal aliens of the third world are not your actual children. Go do things that actually bring true happiness instead of whatever the hell this is. Yeah. Longhouse, femme-bot activism that destroys your life and leaves you miserable. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe.
Okay, that's the first spinning one. She does okay on her intel.
And I've been perusing them. Tip, they're not in the normal folder that they usually put them in. They're in backup. So if you Google House Oversight Committee files, it'll bring you to where they are. And it'll say click here. And then it'll say backups are here. Go to the backups because I haven't seen them yet. At least I haven't yet in the normal link. So go to the backups and they're posting some really good stuff. I'm just perusing through it all to figure out where I want to start my focus. But they have videos of the jail cell the night that Epstein died, all of the hours of footage outside of the jail cell, which we already know that some of that's missing, but I'm going to watch all of that. I also have the testimony of, the night that Epstein claimed that he tried to kill himself the first time, a few weeks before, from the guards. And that's going to be really interesting to see. They have videos of the witnesses. They have videos of body cam footage of going into the house. We've seen pictures of the houses and stuff, but the stuff is wrapped up. They've already been through it. This is raw. When they walk through, what are they seeing in the house, which is interesting. Yeah, they have witness testimonies. They have Ghislaine Maxwell's trial. And in there, I only read it quickly, but there was juror number 50. I guess he was one of the people that convicted her. He was doing interviews after the trial saying that he had been sexually abused as a child. And so this trial stuck with him, et cetera, et cetera. However, he answered on the juror questionnaire to get on the trial that he hadn't been. And then they called him in. Obviously, that's literal grounds for mistrial. I mean, I'm not a lawyer, but I think so. But they questioned him and he was like, I didn't mean to answer them incorrectly. There were 3 questions that he answered incorrectly about sexual abuse. And he was like, that had nothing to do with my guilty verdict. I mean, I do believe that. Bitch is guilty. But thought that was really interesting. In addition, they spent a lot of documents. I read 5 or 6 pages of them defining what grooming was, for instance. And woo, it's going to be a doozy, but they are posting like videos and a lot of really interesting things. I think they're going to give us some really good information. But anyway, all that to say, if you want to go look and explore as well, just Google Epstein Files House Oversight Committee, but go to the backups. Stay tuned. They've been releasing the.
Okay, she does a good job. Another short one. We haven't played her in a while.
This time in the state of Massachusetts to the sum of $7 million. So 2 men in Massachusetts who immigrated here from Haiti are being accused of frauding $7 million worth of SNAP benefits via these fake little grocery stores. At the height of all of this, allegedly, they were getting about $487,000 per month. So if you're wondering why the Trump administration wants to open up the books and redo the entire program, this is why. This is not the first, and I highly, highly doubt it is nowhere near the last scheme that has been uncovered. These things have gone on unchecked for years. So this is what ABC is reporting. 2 Massachusetts men trafficked nearly $7 million worth of benefits intended for people who cannot afford food. Antonio, 74, and Saul, 21, were arrested Wednesday morning and charged with 1 count of food stamp fraud and a scheme that U.S. Attorney Leah Foley said turned a program to feed families into a multi-million-dollar criminal enterprise. Assistance through the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, known as SNAP, became a focal point during the recent government shutdown. According to federal prosecutors, the defendants operated small retail stores that, despite their limited size, inventory, and food offerings, exhibit extraordinarily high SNAP redemption volumes that far exceeded what they could supply in their store. Another SNAP benefits fraud.
Okay, she does short videos on TikTok. The next one's Holly. I don't normally play her, but it's a short video. I don't normally play her, but see what she has to say again.
Want to just talk about. Trump did his speech last night, and one of the interesting things to me that struck out from that speech was Trump announced he's giving $1,776.1776 stimulus check for the U.S. soldiers. Well, I find that, you know, everything is done in comms, and Trump always speaks in comms, and I found that interesting. 1776, that number, because the republic, the original republic, is 1776. We've always heard we're going back to 1776. The incorporation of the US was 1871. So just that he's using that number to pay military. Now, we've always heard military is the only way, so that the military is getting that huge calm to me, that he's giving a sign that we are on the republic and through the military. So we'll see what comes of that. But that was the big strikeout from that. Now, there was something else I wanted to read, some things of where we're at. So Iraq, they officially set December 29th as the first session of the new parliament. That's a real line in the sand. So we'll see what happens with that. The economists and officials have been openly saying out loud what used to be whispered: the exchange rate has to change under current pressure. The CBI confirmed 1310 ends at the end of the year, and there is no clean way to stretch it without breaking their own rules. So we are coming up to that hard line. Kurdistan says the money is ready to go. Non-oil revenues prepared, audits are done, and we're just waiting on Baghdad's green light. The government is now talking publicly about working with the central bank to pay contractors, which points to liquidity actually being used, not just planned. Digital payments, tax reform, and the Oliver Wyndham program all moved forward. This is infrastructure, not noisy headlines. From the outside, the US and international side looks aligned and active, but not passive. Globally, central banks are moving first and currencies follow. BOJ, and BIS basically confirmed that playbook. Silver and gold are being stacked. Actually, I just read that silver has taken off. It's like decoupled from gold. It's huge. All eyes are on Venezuela. So we'll see what happens with that. Now, I don't know if you guys caught my post that I did with Mr. X. It came out yesterday. A lot of people like him. They don't like him, but he speaks the truth. He tells where we're at with everybody being really sick and tired of this being delayed. And somebody wrote me this, and I thought it's very appropriate to read. Said, "Hi, I just listened to your podcast with Mr. X. I loved it. The white hats need to keep hearing that it's time. Some additional important points need to be made to the white hats' command. We have been in this fight with them. We are their digital soldiers, their words. Some of us have been involved back to Nessara, I have to correct myself, Nessara, the sign-off time frame. The actual war has now been going on 10 years. That's already 4 years longer than World War II. They have training for warfare. We don't. They get a regular paycheck, 3 meals a day, and access to medical support.
Living with hidradenitis suppurativa, it's a lot. To cover my abscesses, I would lay a bandage.
Many of us don't.
Yep.
Millions of us have lost our jobs, homes, family members, our health, purely due to the delays in flipping the switch. Every day, the delay in flipping the switch, they are killing more of us. This is way beyond friendly fire. It's deliberate, calculated, and systematic slaughter, sacrifice of patriots. If the QFS is what we have been told, then the cabal deep state actors lose all access to their funds. It will bring things to a head first when the white hats flip the switch. The fact that they haven't tells the patriots we have been lied to and used. Don't get me wrong, we are grateful for the white hats, that they're cleaning up the cabal, but at what cost? There needs to be accountability from the white hats just as much as the black hats. We are ready for the switch. We can deal with the chaos it will cause. That has to be better than the shit show we are watching now." Said, "Please thank Mr. X from me. I appreciate him voicing how we feel. Intelligent people will completely get what he is saying." So to the white hats, to anybody listening that is involved in this, and here's our plea, we are all tired. We're coming up to another holiday, another Christmas, and I do not see this happening before this holiday. I don't see it happening till sometime in 2026. And again, all these timelines keep shifting and changing. People are tired. People are dying. People are sick. We need to just rip the Band-Aid off and let this happen. It is time. It's past time. So for those in charge that hear our pleas, our cries for help to end this shit show and just get on with this, it's inevitable. We know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of doing it. We don't know what the holdup or delays are, why it keeps being prolonged and delayed. And I do thank everybody for all their efforts and everything they're doing to make this happen. But there comes a time when you just need to do it and release it. And whatever chaos or fallout there is from that, then we deal with the cleanup. We have prepared enough. We're ready enough. And people need this. It's time to start healing this world. And healing will come with money in our pockets to be able to get housing if you need housing, get a car if you need a car, get health care, get food, all the basic necessities that we need to survive on this planet. So our plea to you, to the white hats, to those empowered, to those listening, it's time. Just do it. Just release it. That's all I have to say. I will.
Yep, she's saying the same old garbage, just like the rest of them. I wanted to play her and see if she changed a bit, but it doesn't look like she changed. She said last January it was supposed to go. So I won't play her no more. So sorry about that one, but I just wanted to check up on that one. It was a short video. We got the new lady on YouTube. She came out today with 8 minutes. Oh wait, 10 minutes. 10.5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's very good news this evening. And I'm expecting to have more news tomorrow that should be. You broke up. Your news, things to celebrate. And I think we'll all have something to celebrate for Christmas and New Year's this year.
Wonderful news. That's excellent.
Now, one of the other things that's come up is we still have 8 people we need to bring home. And we're having a lot of struggles. We have 3 families in the Federation that are undergoing considerable havoc, just trying to stay warm and stay, continue working because of attacks. I've been attacked. There have been several other people that have been attacked. Now the impetus is going back in the other direction now, but we're still suffering through the last probably month of having to deal with what they have already done in terms of damage to individuals and families. Well, let's put it this way, the connectivity to make it happen is now there so that we can run the game both ways. We can take money out of one pocket and put it in the other pocket. And in the banking system, that is critical. So, for example, if we find funds that are owed to the Americans, well, how do we get them into the new banking system if there's no connection between them? Is it
possible that, I'm sorry.
Other than actually going out and grabbing something physically, going and taking gold bars and putting them in a different shed, or, doing the sorts of things that you've seen us do where we are, we're ledgering bonds which are our bonds that we then ledger into our system by hand. Okay, but you can imagine the bulk of the banking system is all digital. It's all on different kinds of receipts and records. And if you don't have the connectivity, here's somebody with their hand raised and saying, oh yeah, we have $750 trillion that belongs to you. How do we send it to you? How do we get it to you? You have to be able to connect both systems.
Yes.
Right. So that, your AFD over here in this account can transfer into an exchange rate value against FRNs in another system or euros in a different system. And all of that for 185 different currencies had to be worked out. And we had to have the connectivity between these banks so that we could even transfer the large amount of money issues to be able to fund all this stuff, right?
Hey, Samantha.
So, I'm not joking when I say it's a big thing that we have the connectivity between the banking systems now. It's a big thing. And, it was one of the last final hurdles that we had to get over. We can now get our funds out of their system into our system. Okay? So the hard part has been, like I said, well, we have $750 trillion, which is yours. How do we get it to you? Where's the conduit? Where's the means? How do you do this? Do you do it in tranches? Do you do it all at once? Do you do it by what's called an API, an actual custom-made interface? And how practical is that if you've got, thousands of different transactions? Each and every person has at least 3 different separate trust accounts. So, that's over 900 million accounts for this country alone that we have to be able to take in the receipts from that in order to be able to set up a master account that then allows you to do international trade with gold and silver, lets you do commerce with fiat monies of various kinds, euros and Federal Reserve notes and all the rest of the stuff that's out there. It's really mind-bogglingly complex once you start really grappling with it. But, the most important part, or the most one of the hardest parts has been simply having the connectivity to the existing system, which would allow us to transfer large piles of money or assets. We need it to be automated. And the only way we could automate it was if we had relationships with these other banks that would allow it to come in and at least one point within our system, within our corresponding commercial banks. And that has been difficult to arrange because basically they viewed us as competitors, and they didn't want to play ball with us at all. Even though they knew that they had to, even though they knew that it was our money, they were resisting. And this has been one of the major problems we've had for years, is that, it was only through an API, a handmade solution, that we could continue to bring the money in order to disperse it or to, credit it to all these different accounts. Well, just the fact that each one of you has 3 different trust accounts attached to your name, a minimum of 3, okay? That's 900 million or 980 million accounts. Just in
Welcome,
America.
Bill. Listen, National.
And that doesn't count all the derivative accounts for quote unquote special purpose vehicles, like all of the different accounts that the Department of Transportation has on you, or all of the accounts that the Department of Defense holds on all of our soldiers. Most of our soldiers have no idea that they have all these accounts attached to their names that are various kinds of trusts and benefits and escrow accounts. And, for example, every mortgage that has ever been written here has had its own separate escrow account. And we think of escrow as something where, the money goes in and then the bank comes and takes it, right? And it's recorded and accounted for. Well, actually, there's a separate account that is an escrow account in your name for every single mortgage you have ever held. So if you're, an average American and you've had maybe 3 or 4 mortgages in your life, as you bought a house and then you sold it, and you bought another house and had another mortgage and paid for that for several years, and then you moved somewhere else, sold that house. Every time that you've had a mortgage, you've had an escrow account that was not collected. Because it was your credit that was being extended to you. So if you multiply that across 320 million Americans and 6 generations, when I'm talking complexity, I'm talking complexity. When I'm talking big numbers, I'm talking really, 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 really big numbers. And it has to be automated because you can't sit there and do it one by hand. What we've been seeing has been a financial and fiscal paralysis for several years, where, that 800-pound gorilla is just sitting there and there's no way to go anywhere. People say that Americans don't have any money, that we don't have any gold. And yet you hear these rumors like, Trump went and collected 650 cargo planes full of gold, right? You hear these rumors. I have to be on the big picture end
we've
of
been
it,
playing her.
where that
She came out
kind
today.
of amorphous description becomes real.
Missing for a few weeks.
So it's not 650 plane loads. It's 452,000 gold bars.
About time, man.
Each one 400 ounces. And that's one account.
Yeah, a few people told me we started following her this past month. So, yep. And I think told me about her, I think. I remember. Well, yeah, Bill, yeah, welcome. Let's be respectful. That's all I'm asking. Thanks for coming.
Minnesota taxpayer dollars disappeared. Now, in part 2, I'm going to tell you exactly how they did it. Step 1, create a daycare center.
We play this one?
No need for it to be big. Just put up cute posters and put out toys.
So. Today's video, I think.
You sign up for the Child Care Assistance Program. And that's where the government pays providers for low-income families. Step 2, and this is where it gets wild. You build the state for kids who don't even show up. Or you take a real family, offer them cash or diapers in exchange for their child's name. Then you bill the government 8 hours a day, every day.
She does good for Minnesota.
Step 3, when investigators show up, suddenly everybody's a cousin, neighbor, or they're helping out. Every receipt looks perfect. Every form is filled out. It's fraud disguised as paperwork. The City Journal reported one daycare billed the state for more children than actually lived in that neighborhood. Step 4. This is where it starts getting darker. After the payouts hit the account, the money gets withdrawn as cash. Not checks, not cards, cash. Investigators reported some cash was flown overseas, yes, flown, in suitcases up to $1 million
Yeah. I
at
played this
a
one, you guys.
time. Step 5. Okay, this part is alleged, but serious. Some of the cash went to Somalia. Said that in the last video. Not to families, not to community programs, but to regions under the control of Al-Shabaab, the Al-Qaeda linked terror group. And nobody even tried to stop it. So 6, the big question here. How did Minnesota lose millions without noticing? Well, it's because the system relies on trust. Counties rubber stamp paperwork, audits barely happen, and whistleblowers get ignored. And that's just one program, just one doorway for money to disappear. I'm going to do a part 3, and that's going to give you the names, the indictments, how the FBI got involved, and the political fallout. So,
You guys want me to play part 1 and part 3? I can't remember if I played. I thought I played it, but the new people, I don't think, seen it. They're not very. They're short ones. Yeah. I played that one, you guys. Yeah, sorry about that.
By looking in the mirror before continuing down this tired anti-Trump at all cost path,
This is 8
because
minutes.
it hasn't worked before, and it's clearly not working now. And that's not the only bad news Democrats are waking up to today. Watch this CNBC host gasp in real time as new inflation numbers roll in and completely shatter expectations.
The number of the morning, the CPI, maybe coming in a little bit better than expected. 2.7%, a little light here. I'm just reading the headlines here. Year over year, 2.7. Ex-food and energy core, 2.6. So 0.4 off. That is a very good number here. Seasonally adjusted index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% over the 2 months. So correct my math here, Michael Santoli, but 0.2 divided by 2 is 0.1.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's a very, very low monthly rate here.
So let me get this straight. The so-called experts were wrong again, and Trump was right about everything. Shocking? Not so much, but somebody might want to check in on the panicans. Now, over at CNN, they had a Harvard expert on this morning, scrambling to basically react to the report showing that core inflation is now at its lowest level since COVID. Good luck to the Democrats trying to spin this one.
Inflation's been very high. It's stayed high. It has not been coming down. But, people were expecting it to be above 3%. It was well below 3%. I mean, I think the president will take this as good news. The investors will think that interest rates will get cut more.
And yet Democrats still want to talk about President Trump's approval rating. Maybe they should start by looking in the mirror before continuing down this tired anti-Trump at all cost path, because it hasn't worked before, and it's clearly not working now. And that's not the only bad news Democrats are waking up to today. Watch this CNBC host gasp in real time as new inflation numbers roll in and completely shatter expectations.
The number of the morning, the CPI, maybe coming in a little bit better than expected. 2.7%, a little light here. I'm just reading the headlines here. Year over year, 2.7. Ex-food and energy core, 2.6. So 0.4 off. That is a very good number here. Seasonally adjusted index for all items less food and energy, 0.2% over the 2 months. So correct my math here, Michael Santoli, but 0.2 divided by 2 is 0.1.
Yeah.
So therefore, that's a very, very low monthly rate here.
So let me get this straight. The so-called experts were wrong again, and Trump was right about everything. Shocking? Not so much, but somebody might want to check in on the panicans. Now, over at CNN, they had a Harvard expert on this morning, scrambling to basically react to the report showing that core inflation is now at its lowest level since COVID. Good luck to the Democrats trying to spin this one.
Inflation's been very high. It's stayed high. It has not been coming down. But, you know, people were expecting it to be above 3%. It was well below 3%. I mean, I think the president will take this as good news. The investors will think that interest rates will get cut more.
And yet Democrats still want to talk about President Trump's approval rating. Maybe they should start by looking in the mirror before continuing down this tired anti-Trump at all cost path, because it hasn't worked before and it's clearly not working now. And that's not the only bad news Democrats are waking up to today. Watch this CNBC host gasp in real time as new inflation numbers roll in and completely shatter expectations.
The number of the morning, the CPI. Oh, maybe.
Sorry about that. That was a replay. Okay, let's do. This came out 9 hours ago. Nine hours ago.
University shooter, who is also a key shooter, we believe, was found dead. Authorities were unable to catch him alive. And of course, he is a foreigner who is here visiting at the permission of the federal government, given a green card, found dead in a storage unit. Christy Nome sounding off here, explaining exactly what the immigration status is of Claudio Neves, who entered the United States through a diversity lottery. What the hell is a diversity lottery? Why do we need a diversity lottery? We don't need more diversity here. We don't need lotteries here. We don't need visas and green cards and H-1Bs. We don't need any of that. America is very, very full and is coming apart at the seams. And we don't need more people that don't share our culture and tradition. We need a cooling off period. America's full. Was granted a green card in 2017. This heinous individual should never have been allowed in the country. In 2017, President Trump fought to end this program following the devastating New York City truck ramming ISIS terrorist who killed 8 people. So we let people in here to kill us. That's what the visa program is. This is what visas are. We let people in here to kill us. And even if there's 1 out of 1,000, isn't that too much? And we've seen this, of course. National Guard was killed on the streets of Washington, D.C. by somebody who should have never been here. We brought a terrorist from Afghanistan into America to kill our soldiers. It's maddening and it's infuriating. President Trump's direction, I'm immediately directing immigration services to pause the visa program to ensure no more Americans are harmed by this disastrous program. Good for you, Christy Nome. Here's the photo of this monster. What is the motive? We're not exactly sure, but we know that he's originally from Portugal and he was here on a visa. The alleged suspect at Brown University was caught on camera in Salem, New Hampshire, the extra space storage facility. What I find fascinating about this video.
For dogs, it doesn't get much more fun than this. But you're not a dog. You're a complex human who can have.
Oh my God. Yeah, and my brother goes, that doesn't even look at me. He goes, but I have had on in my
So can you explain the facility thing?
It's he works at the self storage.
Okay, if I record you.
Yeah, he works at the self storage over there, and he's a manager there. And the FBI was calling him, trying to find out, about the because the guy has a storage unit.
Storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire.
Yeah, so they were talking to them, trying to figure out everything, and so they got the information. They said, my brother's boss said, you can go home if we need you, we'll call you back.
Yeah.
And my brother left, got in his car, started driving away. They surrounded him.
The FBI surrounded your brother's car.
Ripped him out of his car, threw him to the ground, and put rifles to his head.
That's
assholes. And he's trying to tell him, I'm the manager. You
of the storage facility.
Yeah,
yep.
Okay, so here's what I find fascinating. Look at this. This is the clearest photo yet. So the storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire. Extra space storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire has better security cameras than all of Brown University. That's the big takeaway here. So this alleged Brown University shooter has been identified as Claudio Neves. He's from Portugal. He also killed an MIT professor. He's not a U.S. citizen. He was found dead by suicide. He attended Brown. He attended the same university in Portugal as the MIT professor. This seems targeted. So it looks like he was taking out a vendetta. And this is the wildest part of the story. A homeless man was able to figure out who this person was and crack the case days before the FBI, and kept pleading with the FBI that this is the man that you're trying to find. He wrote even a Reddit post that has since gone viral, proving that he knew exactly the identity of this person, the actual shooter. This has been a days-long manhunt that has ripped the country in half, because this man shot 12 students and then went and did assassination targeted killings in some of the most prestigious institutions in America, MIT and Brown, and nobody knew who he was and nobody was able to find him. It's been confirmed that the homeless man blew the Brown University shooting case wide open through a Reddit post. He called a tip line and flagged his own Reddit post and was seen walking on video very close to the shooter. The man might get the $50,000 reward, former Brown University student. He followed the gunman and asked the gunman why he was circling the block. He basically tracked the shooter all by himself and got the vehicle information. Dude is an absolute hero. This is the photo of the homeless man. Here's the report.
Wide open by a homeless man who goes by John. Now, investigators say that he's a former Brown University student who grew suspicious of the gunman when he locked eyes with him in the bathroom just 2 hours before the shooting inside the Barris and Holly building. The gunman, his name is Claudio Neves Valente. Now, John, pictured here, is the man police were looking to speak to because of how close he got to that gunman. John said he followed Neves Valente out of the building before the shooting and played a game of cat and mouse in the neighborhood. Surveillance video shows Neves Valente running away from John. At one point, he stood just feet away from the gunman and questioned why he was circling the block. The gunman repeatedly responded, quote, "Why are you harassing me?" When police released images of the suspect after the shooting, John wrote an anonymous Reddit post describing seeing the gunman unlock a parked gray Nissan sedan with Florida plates he thought could be a rental. 3 days after the shooting, John anonymously called the police tip line and flagged his own Reddit post. On Wednesday, John walked up to police, revealed that he was the man police were looking for, that he was close to the gunman, and that the Reddit post came from him. Police used license plate readers to track the gray Nissan to an Alamo car rental center in Boston. They pulled surveillance images showing Neves Valente, and they traced him to a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire, where he was found dead last night. Now, Neves Valente was spotted in the Brown University building on November 28th. That's 2 weeks before the shooting. Last night, I asked investigators how it could be that a homeless man and not police noticed a suspicious person in that time.
Well, the Promise Police is obviously not going to patrol Barris and Holly. That's a question frankly, for Brown and their police department.
Why would a civilian observe that to be suspicious? It's a great point. And I like the fact that you're mentioning that and bringing that up. That's what we should all be doing, right? And it's just personality. Some people are more interested in finding out what others are doing. In this particular case, this person decided that he wanted to, and I'm glad he did.
Discover, dream, do at the Henry Ford.
A source tells Fox that John is a homeless man who actually lives in the basement of the Barris and Holly building. And while that brings up a whole slew of security questions, the reality is he's being treated as a hero.
So the shooter was an immigrant student and a Muslim who shouted Allahu Akbar, and this is why Brown covered it up. They wanted to protect the immigrant student. They didn't want to protect the conservative that was murdered, one of the few conservatives on Brown University, right-wingers. I bet the Brown shooter was a Muslim, left-winger. I bet the Brown shooter is MAGA. He's Portuguese. In other words, Providence Police Department weren't incompetent. The MIT professor would be alive today. That's right. So he went on to go murder 3 days later an MIT professor. The FBI was playing footsie in the snow, and the Brown shooter got up and mogged by a homeless Reddit user. Incredible. The tip command center received information from an anonymous source citing a Reddit post. The tipster said, "I'm being dead serious. The police need to look into this Nissan with Florida plates, possibly a rental. The car he was driving, he was parked in front of the little shack behind Rhode Island Historical Society. I know this because he used his key fob to open the car, approached it, and something prompted him to back away. When he backed away, he relocked the car. I found that odd. When he circled the block, I approached his car, and when I saw the Florida plates, homeless guy's a hero. The actual hero of the story is the homeless man. Meanwhile, the FBI was doing this. This is what the FBI was doing. Going like this in the snow. Pretty sick, man. Disturbing noises Brown University shooter made as he gunned down students. FBI slammed for self-congratulatory press conference despite failures that let him kill an MIT professor. There you go. There's Claudio Neves. Why the hell did he do this? There's a lot of unknowns, they said. He was making strange sounds as he walked into the classroom, unloaded more than 40 rounds, killing 2 students and injuring others. Where's the video footage? Where are the cameras on campus? Law enforcement officials have come under fire for not identifying Neves quickly enough and allowing him to go murder again. Critics blasting the FBI after a Reddit user cracked the case before they did. That's right. Wild. Insane. There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The FBI probably needs to be taken out of the studs at this point. But I'm glad the killer is no longer on the loose.
Okay, we got 2 in. Sorry about that one, you guys. I played that one, I think. I got some good ones coming up, though. Okay, I got that lady, how Walmart was yesterday. We got Amazon tonight. But we got 2 short ones I want to get.
This is a reverse ATM. People come with cash and they can't use it. They have to come here.
Correct.
Daniel.
That's a cashless building. I have never seen a reverse ATM. So the idea is it works just like a regular ATM, but instead of putting in your card and getting cash, you put in your cash and get a card.
But also, because it's a regular debit Visa card, you can use it outside of the building.
Okay.
So if you wanted to go to Walmart or McDonald's or Target, wherever you want to spend your money, it's just a regular debit Visa card. That's what it looks like. And what you see is a lot of the camper kids. Their parents don't give them a card.
No, of course not.
They give them cash and expect this to give them
I wonder.
card.
I think
their 10-year-old
a card.
have a card.
Well, I'd have to imagine there's a lot of people with accessibility or maybe, different people who want to spend their cash and just are probably shocked to find out. Yeah, but they can't.
They just have to get a card and they can spend it.
It's crazy because it's like legal tender, but then I'm like, I guess not. I don't know. So, okay. So what do we do here? Touch to start. Okay.
You want to get a card.
We
right?
want to get a card. I mean, I don't want to get a card, but I'm going to get a card. Okay.
Well, remember, you can use it
Wait, what
outside
was
of
that?
here.
What
Put
was
your money in
that?
it.
That screen? Did we have to put in our information? Is
No.
that? Oh, okay.
No, because at the end you can ask for a receipt.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And it ate it.
There we go.
Are you done?
I'm done. Finished. Issue card.
Now, hold on.
Okay.
Take your card.
Okay.
Do you want a receipt?
Yes, I guess so.
Okay.
Yes. Let's
Yes.
Yes. Now, Why do people want a receipt? What is that reason for? Just
because people like to have a receipt that they know it's really $20 and it's not.
Oh.
Now, the other advantage that you have with this, there's no fee charge.
Okay.
And whereas if you go to a lot of debit machines, you know what I mean? They charge what, $2, $5
to take out the cash?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
This charges you nothing.
Okay. Wow.
And as you see, it's a regular debit Visa card.
Yeah.
It expires next year.
Okay. Amazing. Wow. Well, thank you so much for your help. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
This is fascinating. Yeah.
What?
It's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That's good to know. That was important there. One more short one, then we'll do the YouTube lady.
He's the one that is ordering President Trump to halt the deportation of all violent criminals. Wait until you hear what Representative Jim Jordan just uncovered about this activist judge. It could change everything. Plus, Attorney General Pam Bondi and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, they continue to spar over the mounting threats that Elon Musk and Tesla are facing. But first, Kash Patel coming up with a big win for the country. Watch this.
This shows what the men and women of the FBI can do when they have leadership. The FBI has arrested and brought to justice, thanks to the Department of Justice and Pam Bondi, 3 top 10 of the FBI's most wanted. Let me just say that again. Not 1, not 2, but 3 of the FBI's most wanted top 10 are now in custody.
So I want to walk you through what these 3 criminals are wanted for. First, Francisco Javier Roman Bardales. He is a suspected MS-13 key senior leader. Now, he is wanted for his alleged role in ordering violence against civilians and drug distribution schemes in the U.S. and El Salvador. He is now in prison. Next is Analdo Jimenez, who is pending extradition to the United States for first-degree murder charges in Illinois, plus unlawful flight to avoid prosecution, meaning he tried to flee. And finally, Donald Eugene Fields II was arrested just 5 days after President Trump took office and has been on the FBI's most wanted list since May of 2023. He is wanted for child sex trafficking and child rape in St. Louis. Now, thanks to the hard work of Kash Patel and Pam Bondi, these men can no longer hurt anyone. Someone else looking to uphold the law is Tom Homan. Watch as ABC expresses concern over the criminals that Homan is trying to deport.
What we've heard from lawyers representing some of these people is that they deny that they're members of this gang. Or either, Tren de Aragua or MS-13. Do they get a chance to prove that before you take them out of the country and put them into a notorious prison in a country that they're not even from? I mean, do they have any due process at all?
Confident. Look, due process. Where was Lake and Ronnie's due process? Where were all these young women that were killed and raped by members of TDA? Where was their due process?
Well, the people that did that should be prosecuted.
On the subway, where's her due process?
Well, sure.
The bottom line is, that plane was full of people designated as terrorists, number 1. Number 2, every Venezuelan migrant on that flight was a TDA member based on numerous criminal investigations, on intelligence reports, and a lot of work by ICE officers.
Welcome to the Carrie Lane Show. I'm Carrie Lane. Hey, lots.
Okay, I got 2 of her done. $15, guys.
I don't know. What do you think? I spent $180 on this.
Send it back. Wrap it up. Send it back. No.
All right, Amazon is really out here testing people on the daily. Because why does it take only 1 click to buy something, but 3 days to emotionally recover from what you receive? Today, we've got the full experience. Mystery packages, mislabeled merchandise, and replacements that also show up broken. And of course, items that look nothing like in the pictures. Let's jump into all of these Amazon fails.
Okay, so I bought this Velma cosplay on Amazon a couple days ago, and I was so excited to try it on and wear it for my stream today. But then I saw the socks. Are you kidding me? I bought this brand new. I didn't buy a used one. Are you fucking kidding me? There's pet hair on this. What if I was allergic to pets? Like, yeah, I'm gonna return it, of course, but like, this is ridiculous. Like, who's just gonna send something like this? Who's gonna? And the glasses are fucking dirty. Like, what the heck?
When Amazon mislabels the poppers.
Oh no! It was a girl, not a boy. Amazon sent the wrong thing. Oh, and the daddy was so excited too. How sad.
Thought Tony was getting a paddling pool. Got it for 25 pounds.
Hey, what do you think?
Are you fucking kidding me? Tony, come here. Are you fucking kidding me?
Ordered a mug on Amazon and it arrived broken. This is the replacement they sent.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh, would you look at that? Just look at it.
So I ordered a mop and Amazon decided to send me a rifle case. So how the hell am I supposed to clean my floors with that?
Don't know, I love to show you all outfits from Amazon. Let me de-influence you right now. This is what I thought I was gonna get. Look, the body doesn't come with it, okay? Keep that in mind, which I knew the body wasn't gonna come with, but I was not expecting what I received. What is that? What? It's giving slip or a nightgown. Beware and do not buy from that brand.
Okay, y'all. So y'all are about to watch me make a huge mistake. So I ordered this coffee table from Amazon, right? Let me show y'all what it's supposed to look like. Hold on. Okay, that's what it was supposed to look like. I'm taking it out of the box, whatever. And then this is where I realized I done messed up. I messed up so bad. I'm like, okay, let me give it the benefit of the doubt. Let me open it up, set it up. Y'all, watch this. What is that? I damn near cried at this point. I'm like, all right, the legs. It just needs legs. That's all it needs. All right, the legs, whatever. Boom. When I tell you I was in tears, I was so upset. And then I send it to my boyfriend and he just starts laughing. I don't know. What do y'all think? I spent $180 on this.
Send it back. Send it back. Wrap it up. Send it back. Nope.
Amazon has gone viral.
What she got was a fashion reality check.
The shirt from Amazon has gone viral and it looks so weird still that I have to try it. It comes in a bunch of colors. I went with the green and it's a one-size-fits-all shirt. This is the shirt. It's kind of giving like lettuce vibes, the sleeves. So let's try it on. The shirt looks so cute on her. I just see like bananas or lettuce. Like, I'm not sure what's happening. Not a win for me.
I just delivered your package and somebody stole it. Oh,
Oh my God.
On fails, and I have so many. This one just takes #1 spot by a lot. You know, the idea was there. So it's a bread box, but my bread doesn't really fit. And then the sides are supposed to go over. This could very much be a user error. But theoretically, the bread was supposed to like pop out of the top when you pull down the bag, if that makes any sense. Or I'm just dumb. I don't know. Let me know if you have a bread box thing. ?
Hi, this will take only about a minute every time. But to Eaton Wholesale Electric, and to the Amazon guy who packaged this package, I want you to know one thing. This is what I ordered. As you can see right here, nice, sleek, techy and stuff like that. And this is what I received, a Eaton Wholesale W Electric backpack with a collab with Ogio. What? Well, who's that? And the people who work at Eaton Wholesale W Electric, if you guys see or know anything about this package right here, if you guys have this, can you just send it my way? Just my DMs are open. So thank you.
Amazon, I think you forgot something. I went to walk out to get my packages and found this. I am so confused, but thanks for the big yellow container.
There's the bottom of it. So let's see if I can't open this and figure out what the heck happened. So there's more than laundry detergent in here. Let's see here. You've got that. And oh yeah. Where's the lid? Did I get this totally shoved down into it? Yeah, I think the lid just got totally shoved down into the bottle. So I'm going to guess it got thrown onto the pavement pretty hard.
I ordered a ring light off of Amazon. But they sent me this. And honestly, let's just take a look at this for a second. The creativity of this piece in the way that it actually works is insane. So this is a random solar light from like an outdoor light, okay, that they have a wire attached to with a toothpaste cap that they hot glued onto this toilet cover seat thing. And then they hot glued 2 screws together with a light at the end. And somehow this works. It's like they took everything from the factory and just glued it together. This is insane. Put it in the cart. I don't even remember what I came here for. Well, this section looks a little different than it did yesterday. And look at this.
I was so excited to go downstairs and get my mail because I ordered a new planner on Amazon. And this is what they sent me. What am I supposed to do with this?
Because this is not even funny anymore. I ordered myself something for work yesterday from Amazon, and it is came in a bag. Now, it is very clearly something phallic. You can feel the detail on it through the bag. This was delivered by DPD. I like my DPD driver. Oh my God, why is this always happening to me? Anyway, I'm going to do an unbagging video. I'm so... I don't know if you can see, but like, it is very clear. I'm going to have to fucking move. I'm going to have to move. I like my DPD driver. Oh, he delivers my cat's food. He's really nice. No. To be clear, the unbagging video will not be on this app, obviously. It will be in the usual place, but oh my God.
At IHG Hotels and Resorts, you can explore the neighborhood or live like a local.
Oh my God, what is that?
5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
We got that video coming up too.
Okay, my fiance didn't pick up, so I need to show someone this. So we ordered new cutlery because we had gold cutlery and it was just fading really bad. Every time we washed it, it kind of went to that silver. So we thought, okay, let's just order silver cutlery this time so we can say, really pretty, right? Good size. Look at this spoon.
Who is eating with this? This is a ladle. Like, that's not a spoon. Just for reference, this is our large spoon from our original set. This is huge. I don't know. I have to return it. Like, that's impossible. I can't possibly, like, if you came over and I served you this, you would be like, okay.
And this is what I ordered. Cute, right? The little cut off crop top. Might be a little ambitious since I still have my winter body, but it's cute, right?
That's definitely not what he ordered.
What? It's not even close.
It came pre-packaged, and I'm just like, flip your schedule. So I ordered this planner on Amazon, and it came fully packaged, and I'm just like flipping through it, all excited to use it. What do I find? It's already used. Lush Workshop, Chinese New Year, Community Resource Fair, qualifyings, St. Patty's Bar Crawl. I guess they're from Hoboken. Check status of dried roses. Okay, cool. So if this is your planner, let me know. Obtain vodka.
I ordered a MacBook on Amazon. And I received a bag of rice.
Look at this. Chevy makes America's most dependable trucks.
With Ozempic, I've lost 170 million pounds. You can too.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, she just came out with it tonight, okay?
Amazon sold me a fake Coach bag. If you guys did not see my YouTube video, I unboxed my new quilted tabby because they were having a really great spring sale deal. And the honey brown quilted tabby in the size 20 was $237 instead of the whopping $395 that they usually sell them for. So as any Coach loving shopping addict would do, I bought it. And when I unboxed it, I got this quilted suede tabby 26 couch bag because it's not Coach. And I was so hyped because I really thought that they had given me a better bag for the price that I paid. If it weren't for this person right here telling me that this looks off and that they have the same bag and it just doesn't look the same, I probably wouldn't have found this out until months later, or I would have worn it out and sort of been like, that's not real. And it's crazy because when I first unwrapped this, I was like, this looks a little off, but I'm like, it never crossed my mind that this could possibly be fake because I bought it directly from the Coach Amazon site. But as soon as I saw that comment, I went in the bag and looked for the serial number, and there is no serial number at the bottom of this little tag. So I immediately reached out to Amazon, and I am returning this, and I'm getting my money back because what the hell? And I'm nervous because I just bought another Coach bag, and it's supposed to be coming in today, but I got it from Amazon. But hopefully, because it's a new bag, they don't have like a fake one of it yet. I don't know.
That is all I have for you today. If this video made you laugh, cringe, or get flashbacks from your own order history.
Okay, that was from today. I got a few short ones, and then we'll get a Doug video. I'll probably go 7 for sure, maybe 7:30.
To the last ones. We're the last of the Mohicans. We are the last ones to say we're not going to bow our knee to this globalist agenda. Guys, this is crazy. I'm looking at these Western countries, these countries that used to be a bastion of light, of freedom, of libertas. We're looking at countries all over the world, countries like Germany, Australia, France, that are canceling Christmas and New Year's celebrations because of fear of jihadists, because of fear of massacres. Massacres of people who are not invading the country, but have been invited in by their leaders. Their leaders invited them in. They have now taken over. They've taken over neighborhoods to the point to where people, the police are even afraid to go to these zones. And what does the government say of those countries? We're just going to take away additional freedoms from our citizenry. Are you serious? Rather than actually fight the problem, you're going to take additional liberties from your citizens because of a problem that you did not create? You didn't create the problem. The citizens didn't create the problems. The governments created those problems. But the reason they hate Donald Trump as much as they do is because Donald Trump's actually saying, wait, there's a solution to this. Fix it. We're going to fix it. These people are afraid of the solution because it's all about power. It's all about politics. Now, I have an understanding, or at least I think I have a theory about this, okay? Either these people are too feckless and too spineless to actually do what needs to be done to remedy the situation and to remove the threats from the streets and to send those people who are a threat back home that were not willing to come in and to assimilate and to work and to thrive and to raise their children in the cultures that they had now brought them into and become a contributor to that society. If they have been there and they're not done so, they need to go. If they came in illegally, they need to go. But the problem is they don't want to deal with that. So they've decided instead to take away the freedoms from their citizens. Now, the other part to that theory is they're not so much spineless and feckless. The other thought is this what they were looking to do anyway? Is this their new brand of COVID? To sell a fear and then to force people to not gather, to force people back into their homes, to force people to not go to school, to separate people into little tribes so that they could propagandize them? I mean, it's starting to feel a lot like 2020 and 2021 to me. Another election year. I'm not sure about which is the cause. All I can argue is the results. And here we are, moving back into 2026, and we are seeing freedoms being taken away from once bastions of light. We must fight this in the United States. We must. And really and truly, Donald Trump is an imperfect man, but he is the greatest hope that we have with dealing with this situation because he's willing to deal with the solution or to at least give a solution that others are just too afraid to even deal with. They would rather punish their citizenry than to actually deal with the problem. Let me know which one of those do you guys think? Are they feckless?
Okay, I got one more cue. Yep, he's in the window.
Fantastic news for you. First of all, I need to apologize for being scarce yesterday. As many of you guys know, that have been here for a long time, you know that my youngest son is a big wrestler, and of course high school wrestling season has begun, and so we were busy with wrestling tournaments, and we'll be busy the rest of the weekend, but I will try to be here. But we had some fantastic news. I wanted to be here for it. So finally, Kash Patel and his FBI have done something great. And I am the first one to say, when people do great things, I want to make sure I acknowledge it. When people do silly things, I also want to give them their flowers. So a couple of weeks ago, I spoke to you guys about Judge Dugan up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Now, this is a story that's been around such a long time. I've just mentioned it and talked about it a couple weeks ago because I wanted to set the stage, because I knew this verdict was going to be coming down rather quickly, because once they had gone to trial, I said, wow, they're actually taking this thing to trial. And I'm very rarely do I see powerful leftists actually go to trial for their crimes. But I was excited to see it. So again, just to rehash, so the FBI and ICE, they've been working together with Homeland Security, and they have been rounding people up in many of these blue cities, illegal immigrants. And so one such illegal immigrant, a man, he was actually being tried for a domestic violence case, a man by the name of Eduardo Ruiz. So the judge, understanding or finding out that there were ICE agents in the building waiting to take this criminal, double criminal and felon, into custody, she actually opened the door and allowed him to sneak out through a side door going through her chambers, just so that he could avoid being picked up and deported by ICE. Yes, so you heard this correctly. A judge, someone that is supposed to administer the law, actually aided and abetted a felon because she wanted to thumb her nose at Donald Trump and his administration, simply because they wanted to actually enforce the law, which you would think that a judge would be all about that. But no, not when it violates their liberal agenda. So she went ahead and helped him escape. She never thought that she would have to pay consequences, because when is the last time you heard of a leftist actually have to pay for their crimes? And Kash Patel did not let it slide. They did try her yesterday, and she was found guilty. She is now waiting for her sentencing, and she could be facing up to 5 years for this particular crime. But she will most definitely be disbarred at the very least because of this felony. So I tell you what, I'm excited. I'm here for it. I'm ready for a lot more of these because Wisconsin has got its own share of issues. And after the 2020 election, there are a whole lot of people whose heads are going to roll. And I'll be talking about that here very soon. You guys have a wonderful day. Again, sorry.
Okay, we got 2 in. I got 2 more short ones. And we'll get Doug.
Relating to late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. And Mark Stone has been trying to sift through the avalanche of material for us.
I mean, what an extraordinary wealth of information. Very hard to go through, and as James was saying, contextually lacking as well. You mentioned the one of Mick Jagger with Ghislaine Maxwell. There it is. I hope you can see it on my screen there. We should stress, as always, that association with Maxwell or with Epstein in photographs does not in any way imply any guilt. There are many, many people in these files, many, many people in the photographs. We know that Jeffrey Epstein was, to use the words of Lord Mandelson, a prolific networker. He knew an awful lot of people, and so he touched. He moved in circles, in wealthy circles here in the United States, in Europe, in the UK, as well as did his girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell. So I want to show you a couple of things on here just to give you a sense of the scale of the document release that has come now, which is it is literally the release of the Epstein files that people have waited for so long for, and yet it is still not all of them. The Department of Justice has said many more will come. So the Epstein Library, as it's being labeled here on the Department of Justice website, has got many different sub-files within each of those, many more sub-files, and us, and I imagine pretty much every newsroom in the world is now going through them. I've gone into this one because there's some video in here, which is interesting. BOP video footage here. That is the Bureau of Prisons video footage. And if I open that one, you can see here, this is the cell door behind which Jeffrey Epstein was being held. This was in 2019, in the days, hours and days before he was found dead in that cell. Now, what we don't know, this footage, some of this footage has been in the public domain before. What we don't know and what we are trying to ascertain now is the extent to which there is new footage. There was some suggestion of missing hours or missing minutes in the video footage. So are those missing minutes now here? That is clearly a key question, which we will be trying to look at. But as you can see here, videos by hour, it says just here, and then it lists them. Each of these is an hour's worth of video footage. So a sense just from that one screen there of the amount of footage that there is. On this, if I open up, you can actually see on here, there is a huge number of court documents as well. This is one court document that is relating. It's the U.S. District Court, Southern District of New York. It is court documents relating to a court case involving Virginia Giuffre, of course, once Virginia Roberts, that woman now deceased, took her own life, who was photographed famously, infamously, from Prince Andrew's perspective, with Prince Andrew and with Ghislaine Maxwell in London many years ago. This is a court document, the one I just showed you there, a court document relating to Virginia Giuffre and Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, we know that the Southern District of New York recently unsealed a wealth of new court documents that had been until that point unavailable for the public to see. So again, we will go through these, but as expected, black lines through some of it. That is what's known as redactions. And I imagine that although there will be, according to the Department of Justice, good reason to redact certain names and certain bits of information to protect identities, particularly of people who are underage and who are victims of abuse. Notwithstanding, black lines for many will equal a continued conspiracy. And so that, I think, is why this will continue to be a conspiracy even after the release of these documents.
Do you need $300? $500?
I got a 3-minute one from Sky News.
James Matthews has the latest.
300,000 pages of documents released as a partial publication, remember. This morning, the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, he said that short of full publication of many hundred thousands of documents, they would be released in batches. Several hundred thousand today, he said, and several hundred thousand over the course of the next couple of weeks. So I'll be looking up and down at my phone as I myself, in common with our team here in Washington, sift through the records. They are searchable.
Is this your first time in chat, Wayne?
That means, of course, that the key names can be put in to a search engine. and details of them, their association to Jeffrey Epstein, and their involvement in Epstein investigations will be discoverable, presumably. No search results so far for Trump or Mandelson, Lord Mandelson. These are the first two names that we have put in. Clearly, Donald Trump, he had an association, a close friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. Best friends, they were termed in the by people in their orbit. Best friends until they fell out in the early noughties. They fell out over a property deal, you'll remember, and also fell out because Donald Trump was upset that Jeffrey Epstein was luring female staff members away from his Mar-a-Lago club in Florida and using them for his own purposes. Those purposes, of course, being the sex trafficking of minors. Epstein, the late Jeffrey Epstein, who died in jail, remember, was a convicted pedophile. So we're in the situation where the documents have dropped, or 300,000 of them. What you're looking at right now, these are photographs that came out yesterday. They were released by Democrat members of the House Oversight Committee. That's the DOJ website. That is where people have descended. I can tell you in their numbers. There's quite the queue to get into that website. I'm just looking through some of the early details that we are able to lift from the content, Matt. 254 masseuses were part of an Epstein masseuse list. All of their names have been redacted. There are flight logs in these files released today. Also, a contact book. That's some of the content of these files.
James Matthews with the latest on the release.
Okay, I got two Sky News in for JJ, finally listening from work. I got Doug and Trish coming up next. This is a little long, 22 minutes.
Cult happened. I believe people should be arrested even for telling the lies in the first place. Guys like Thomas Massey who are spreading disinformation, and it's dangerous because many patriots are being drummed up almost in a Pizzagate thing to go on this big witch hunt for how Trump is guilty and the Democrat Party. It's all spam. It's all made up. It is all completely fake. We're going to help deflate it. But first, we're going to talk about why Tim Walz should actually be arrested. And it wasn't me that came up with this one. This one was posted by Caroline Leavitt, the House press secretary, just today on Twitter. This is from the Washington Free Beacon. A magnet of fraud. Criminals flocked to Minnesota to cash in on easy money. Fraud schemes. Federal prosecutor says while announcing new charges. Now, there's so many charges coming now that at some point they're saying that Tim Walz should resign. Two Philadelphians allegedly traveled to North Star State after learning it was easy to defraud. Do you know why it's easy to defraud? This guy, by the way, they wanted him to defraud the entire United States. This guy, that's why Democrats were voting him in, because it would be easier to defraud the entire United States if this guy was vice president. Here's the 18th. Minnesota has developed a fraud tourism industry, it's being called, that entices scammers to travel to the North Star State to exploit easy money. Taxpayer-funded programs. Joe Thompson, the federal prosecutor behind the Somali fraud conviction, said Thursday he unveiled charges against 6 new defendants, including 2 who were based in Philadelphia. Now, this stuff's going to just keep coming up, guys, because the fraud is so broad. The fraud is broad. With that broad, Tim Walz. Here's calls for Tim Walz's resignation explode as billions are revealed in new fraud charges. Yeah, let me know in the chat below, guys. Do you think Tim Walz should resign? Or is there no benefit to his resignation? Should he just kick back and just sit this one, wait it out?
You know, it's interesting. He's made quite a few maneuvers that are questionable, I would say, over these last years. Now appointing, I should say, a fraud czar, but he closed at the statewide level an office that investigated fraud for many years. There are questions about that. This has only renewed the call for Governor Tim Walz to resign.
Yeah,
he is currently running for a third term as governor, but this has really ramped up under his watch the last.
Why are Minnesotans? I have a lot of friends in Minnesota. Why are they so corrupt to elect this guy a third time? I don't get it.
Years, all of this fraud exploding onto the national scene. I think it's 5 or 6 federal investigations that have now been announced in Minnesota from SNAP or welfare fraud. The state doesn't want to give that over. Our voter rolls, Minnesota doesn't want to hand that over to the feds. Illegal immigrants having commercial driver's licenses here. In fact, President Trump saying that Walz has turned Minnesota into a fraudulent hub of money laundering activity. Those are the president's words.
They actually aimed for Minnesota because Minnesotans are known to be so nice, don't you know? That they're suckers. That's how the United States is going to start seeing Minnesota. Easy target for fraud. And they'll just put this guy right back in office a third time. My Minnesotan people, tell me down in the comments below, are you done with this? Are you done tolerating this stuff? Now, the big news on the Democrat side is today, a bunch of Epstein files supposed to be released. I'm going to give you guys the defense of why Pam Bondi is not the problem. And we're being lied to absolutely about Pam Bondi. Here's the Democrats. Again, if you start sounding like a Democrat like Ro Khanna, it's time to look in the mirror and say, am I being used by the Democrat Party to hate on Pam Bondi and think there's something with the Epstein files?
Tomorrow, by 11:59 p.m. on Friday, the Epstein files will finally be released because of my Epstein Transparency Act.
That's Ro Khanna taking credit. Democrat Ro Khanna, because of my act, my Epstein Files Act. He says today, he recorded this yesterday. He's ready for a big victory lap. Nothing's going to happen. It is a giant nothing. There's nothing there. And those of us who want to see Epstein files and agree with them, we're actually doing the Democrat Party's bidding only.
We will see thousands of documents.
It's actually 100,000 documents and nothing. There's nothing there, guys. Nothing new.
That we should have seen decades ago.
Yeah.
3 federal judges have ordered the release. As I'm speaking, dozens of lawyers on the national security team at the Department of Justice are preparing the documents for release. Let me be very clear. We need a...
Anytime a Democrat says, let me be very clear, grab your wallet. They don't mean it. This guy's a fake. This guy pretends to care about, he does not care about victims or people. 100%, Ro Khanna does not care. He'd probably eat the victims of Jeffrey Epstein before he would care about a human being being abused. Said nothing about Biden losing 300,000 underage kids into trafficking in America. This guy said nothing. They don't care. Right now, he doesn't care. Sue me for defamation, Ro Khanna. Sue me. Tell me about the 300,000 Biden children that are lost. Why don't you care?
Full release. Anyone who tampers with these documents or conceals documents or engages in excessive redaction will be prosecuted because of obstruction of justice. We will prosecute individuals regardless of whether they're the attorney general or a career or political appointee.
What if they're a Biden or a Mayorkas who put 300,000 children, planted them? These people vote against that you can't allow these underage children to be given to illegals with a criminal history. Democrats voted against it. You don't care.
We need full transparency and justice for the survivors. Tomorrow, finally, rich and powerful men who raped underage girls or who covered up for this abuse will be held accountable. The Epstein class needs to go.
Yeah, you're full of crap. This is just marketing, guys. Well, number one is the files weren't released when we recorded this. So if they're not released and exposed, how does he know that the rich elite's names are in them? How does he know that there need to be charges? They hadn't been released. He never saw them. This is my problem. Before anything is released, everyone knows what's in them. And no, you don't. The more facts we find out, the more we say there's nothing there. So this guy, here's one thing I know, that Epstein class, they're just repeating what culture says. This is a giant amoeba-like blob. It's a faith. It's a religion that has no evidence for it. They keep saying, we haven't seen these files, but we're going to release a new batch and then we'll know. And all I keep going, I'm a skeptic. I just go, how about the last 10 times? Nothing happened. I don't mean nothing happened. Nothing was revealed. Not even a fact. I don't mean like, hey, we have evidence of a crime. We don't have any evidence of the crime. It's not there. I don't know why everyone believes. I believe a crime happened. I've never seen evidence. Not one piece of, I believe, I'm a believer. There's no evidence. They keep saying they're going to release evidence and there's no evidence. Here's Thomas Massey.
How will you know if they've released all the materials?
Yeah.
Well, one of the ways we'll know is there are people who have covered this case for years. And I've talked to them in private and they know.
Private. Name names. Thomas Massey, you're dangerous. You're dangerous. Name names.
So what some of the material is.
Yeah, why would this guy cover up those crimes? Why is Thomas Massey actively protecting the criminals of child abusers by not releasing the names of the people who have told him they've seen things and covered these things? Why would you cover it up? He's not helping release information. Always big and brave when he wants to talk about Pam Bondi, but he has names. Say them now. You're a coward. You're doing the Democrats' will. You're a grandstander. And most of all, you do not care about victims. You personally.
Back there. But the other way that we're going to know is the victims' lawyers have been in contact with me. And collectively, they know there are at least 20 names of men who are accused of sex crimes in the possession of the FBI.
How do you know? How do the lawyers know? Where's the evidence? Name the names of the lawyers of these victims. Name the victims and name the lawyers' names. And then have those lawyers say the names in public, the 20 names you just now mentioned. I'm a skeptic. You don't know. I think you're full of it.
In the FD 302 forms.
Yeah.
The FBI fills out these forms to summarize or memorialize what a witness gave them as far as.
When you tell a lie, guys, I'm going to tell you one thing about how to lie, and I think Thomas is very good at it here. Massey is. Put lots of extraneous details around it that don't actually provide the facts and the evidence that you need. When you lie, put all the extraneous details around it. It'll look like you're being more truthful. He's very effective here. Good job.
Testimony when they interviewed with the FBI. So if we get a large production on December 19th, and it does not contain a single name of any male who's accused of a sex crime or sex trafficking.
Yeah, it won't. You don't know it's there. It's not there. Now you're saying if it's not there, we'll know it's false. They released, they already said, over 100,000 documents. Those names won't be there. As far as I know, they don't exist. You can sit there and say the unicorns will be released. And if the unicorns are not released, then you know that they're not legit. And I'll go, or a unicorn doesn't exist. Two things can be true. If there's no evidence for a unicorn, maybe a unicorn doesn't exist. Or it's evidence of a cover-up. Could be a cover-up, or it could be that unicorns don't exist, and the UFOs don't exist, and the aliens don't exist, and the second shooter of JFK doesn't exist, and Elvis isn't really alive, and 9/11 was not an inside job. I'm looking for evidence of all these things. I've never seen it. They've never released it. They promised me it's there. I just call conspiracy theorists out. You're full of garbage. There's nothing there. I remain a skeptic, and it's your job to prove me wrong.
Or rape or any of these things, then we know they haven't produced all the documents.
We know they haven't produced them, or that the documents never had it in the first place. Why won't he say that? He knows that's true. Number one, those abusers' names are in the documents and they just didn't release them. That's one explanation that he's going with here, but he also has to admit that number two, the names weren't in the documents in the first place and the evidence isn't there. He won't say that. I'm sorry, Thomas Massey. I can't take you seriously if you can't steel man your opponent's argument. All you can do is straw man it, and that's how you win a debate. Here's another one, Marjorie Taylor Greene. My goodness, what's in the Epstein files? She's trying to drum up the faith of the occultists. My goodness, there must be some real big stuff in there. That's why. Release all the files. It's literally the law. Maybe they did release all the files. Marjorie, give me the names of what's in there that they're not releasing since you know so much. Can you tell me about it? I can go down this whole feed and it'll be full of people blaming the Jews, okay? That does not lend credibility. Now, what does lend credibility is Steven Crowder. Here's Steven Crowder tweet. This is from November 19th. That's 1 month ago. He said, if the Epstein files drop and it's a disappointment, you can thank Pam Bondi. Steven Crowder, you're wrong on this one. I say that lightly because I have a lot of respect. I don't know about a lot of respect, but I like what he says. He says, if it's a disappointment, you can thank Pam Bondi. No, you can also thank reality. Steven Crowder. You can also thank reality. Maybe Pam Bondi is just releasing reality and you don't like it. And then you blame Pam Bondi because it's a disappointment. She had years as Florida AG to go after Epstein and did nothing, perhaps because nothing is there. Stephen botched the February rollout. Now that's true. I'll explain why she botched it. And now she's literally in charge of the redactions. I believe she's redacting victims. And I also have to announce with Steven Crowder and me that if you talk about Epstein files and you're sympathetic to it and you're for it, you get clicks and money. Steven Crowder, I hope, will not deny that every influencer who pumped up Epstein files, you got a Scooby snack and a reward. So the bias is benefiting the people that want to drum up anger about that. Now, I'm just going to defend Pam Bondi here. I do think Pam Bondi blew the rollout of the Epstein files back when she first got office. It was only because she said, I have the files on my desk and they're going to be released. And she did not have evidence. She may have had files, but she didn't look in there and she didn't have anything of knowledge. She's not the only one that said that. Guys, everyone said that. And I believe that's all Pam Bondi was doing. She was going along with what everyone thought and didn't know. Just like most of you go along with what everyone thought and doesn't know. Just like how I go along with what everyone thought and I personally don't know. Do you see the pattern here? Culture's a hell of a drug. It actually has our mind fill in a lot of gaps for which it has no proof, empirical evidence, hard data, and your mind will fill it in with your imagination. And we've been given one whopper of a drug with the Epstein files, filling out huge, gross details that our mind just runs with. And we've never seen one photograph. You have not. You have not seen one clip, one empirical evidence of one of those crimes. And yet your mind filled it in. So did Steven Crowder's about Pam Bondi. And Pam Bondi's mind also filled it in when she saw the files on her desk. And she told everyone, one thing I know, those files are coming out. Dan Bongino said the same thing. Those files, they're going to come out. Kash Patel has said those files are going to come out. No one ever actually saw a crime in those files. Got it? Do you understand? And here's my defense of Pam Bondi. Here she is when not the fake files, but the initial tranche of files went out and everyone got their little binders. DC Drano got a binder and, my buddy Jack Posobiec got a binder. All these influencers got they go, we got files. And everyone looked at the files and go, wait, these are all old files. There's nothing here. Everyone agrees with me on the conclusion of everything involved with Epstein over the last 5 years is we were given nothing. And my only statement is, maybe there's nothing there. I'm open to it. Here's Pam Bondi with her letter to Kash Patel. Listen to how this is worded. She's furious with Kash Patel that all the files that he promised her did not come. That does not make Kash Patel part of a conspiracy and working for the Jews, guys. Don't be dumb. Trying to raise good thinkers here. But Pam Bondi was angry at Kash Patel. She goes, Dear Director Kash Patel, this is written in February 27th of this year. Right after she took office, they said they'd release the Epstein files in February. She released them to the influencers and they all pushed back on her saying, you're a fraud. You covered up. You said you'd release the files and there's none here. You agreed with all of culture and everyone that's been telling you there's files there and there's no files there. Dear Kash Patel, before you come into my office, I requested the full and complete files related to Jeffrey Epstein. In response to this request, I received approximately 200 pages of documents, which consisted primarily of flight logs, Epstein's list of contacts, and a list of victims' names and phone numbers. I repeatedly questioned whether this was the full set of documents responsive to my request and was repeatedly assured by the FBI that we had received the full set of documents. Late yesterday, I learned from a source that the FBI field office in New York was in possession of thousands of pages of documents related to the investigations an indictment of Epstein. Those are the ones that we've been having released now. There's nothing there. Despite my repeated requests, the FBI never disclosed the existence of these files. When you and I spoke yesterday, you were just as surprised as I was to learn this new information. So they keep getting surprised that there's more documents. Guys, there's hundreds of thousands of Epstein documents spread around everywhere. No matter how many get released and we find them, the audience is going, yeah, we're going to get some stuff finally. And you get nothing. You get documents released and there's nothing in them. Not the kind of stuff that people want. People are looking for, the tabloid. By 8 a.m. tomorrow, February the 28th, the FBI will deliver the full and complete Epstein file. She's mad that she got embarrassed. She got totally eviscerated. And now she's kind of going to Kash Patel. You said you'd released everything. You didn't release everything. Get me those files. Files to my office, including all records, documents, audio, and video recordings. This is why I'm pushing back on Steve Crowder going, you can blame Bam Bondi. Bam Bondi's doing everything she thinks she can. She writes a mean letter to Kash Patel going, give me the files. I don't know what else you can do. I want the video recordings. I want the materials related to Jeffrey Epstein and his clients, regardless of how much information was obtained. There will be no withholdings or limitations to any of your access. The Department of Justice will ensure that any public disclosure of these files will be done in a manner to protect privacy of victims and in accordance with the law. I have done my entire career as a prosecutor. So as a prosecutor, she's using her highest authority to say, I want everything there is. I'm also directing you to conduct an immediate investigation into why my order to the FBI was not followed. You will deliver to me a comprehensive report of your findings and proposed personnel action within 14 days, meaning who will get fired. I appreciate your immediate attention on this important matter. I know that we're both committed to transparency for the American people, and I look forward to the continuing work with you, serve our president and our country. And I think Pam Bondi's committed to transparency. I think Trump's committed to transparency. I think Dan Bongino's committed to transparency. And I think Kash Patel are committed to transparency. They're being perfectly transparent. But you know what? There's nothing there. So they're being transparent. It's being honest. It's a tough truth to grasp when everyone's been collectively gaslit and lied to by culture to expect things that do not exist. It's not there. I will tell you. Here's Luke Rudkowski. Did everyone just forget how Dan Bongino lied to us about the Epstein files? Really? He lied? I think he told the truth. He said, I think there's something there. Everyone says there's something there. Pam Bondi said there's something there. Kash Patel. And there's nothing there. And Kash Patel, by the way, under oath with John Kennedy said there are no actionable arrests because there's nothing there. What did Trump say?
Taxes was feeling unwelcome. Now Taxes is an open door to new TurboTax stores. Meet our experts. They do your taxes, so you can walk out with confidence. Now this is Taxes.
Pet stores are trying to ban this $39 robot puppy because kids actually prefer it over real.
Before the election about the Epstein files. Here's what Trump said. In June of 2024, an appearance of Fox and Friends, he was asked if he would declassify various files, including those related to Epstein. He replied, yeah, I would. I guess I would. I think that less so because you don't want to affect people's lives if it's phony stuff in there, because there's a lot of phony stuff with that whole world. But I think I would. And he did. It's simple. In September of 2024, the episode of Lex Friedman podcast asked if there were Epstein-related documents. He said, yeah, I'd certainly look into it a bit. Yeah, I'd be inclined to do that with Epstein. I'd have no problem with it. He added, it probably will be, but again, without specifying a timeline for the election. So Trump and his administration, everyone told the truth. Everyone did their best. And the one thing that culture and the Democrat Party cannot give up is, what if nothing is there that everyone swears is there? Thomas Massey won't give you names, won't give you specifics because he doesn't have it. It's not there. That's what I'm going with until I see hard evidence. What people can't get their head around, this is a Y2K disaster thing. It was all made up and it spread throughout all of culture and everyone believed it before this hard, skeptical truth could get its pants on. A lie went around the world and deceived everyone. After all, when have most people ever been wrong? At one point, they believed you could own a black man because he was a stupid piece of cattle, half of America. People used to believe all kinds of lies. They believed tapeworms were an effective way to lose weight. You saw doctors recommending cigarette.
Okay. My opinion on the files, I think it's so big that they can't really say it. That's why they're hiding it. And they won't release it. Because there's too many big names on there. My opinion. Okay, I want to do this one.
To provide Ukraine with a loan of 90 billion euros, or about $105 billion. The money will help support Ukraine's defense and economy for the next 2 years. It will come from joint EU borrowing, backed by the bloc's budget. Hungary, Slovakia, and the Czech Republic agreed to the plan, as long as it did not impact them financially.
I think it's a bad decision.
Hungarian leader Viktor Orban criticized the loan, saying it was lost money and would increase tensions with Moscow. The EU opted for a loan instead of the initial plan of using frozen Russian central bank assets. That idea faced many challenges, mainly from Belgium, where most of the frozen money is held. The country worried about legal and financial risks if Russia fought back. But Belgian Prime Minister Bart de Wever's message clear.
The immobilized assets will be kept immobilized and will ultimately be used to repair the damage Russia has caused through its unprovoked and unjustified war against Ukraine. I think nobody in the European family wants to see that money return to Moscow, but we're going to return to the original philosophy. It is going to be used to repair the damage that Russia has caused in Ukraine.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had pushed for the EU to use Russian assets to keep Ukraine fighting. Before the loan deal, several EU leaders had said a 2-year funding plan for the country was imperative. They also wanted to show unity, especially after recent comments from Donald Trump, calling Europe weak.
In October, we decided that the European Union would cover Ukraine's pressing financial needs for 2026 and 2027. Last week, we decided that Russia would not get its assets back until Moscow ends its aggression. Today, we approved a decision to provide 90 billion euros to Ukraine for the next 2 years.
Mark Papercorn, Volkskrant. I want to start with the support for Ukraine.
We will provide a loan backed by the European Union budget. This will address the urgent financial needs of Ukraine. And Ukraine will only repay this loan once Russia pays reparations. The Union reserves its right to make use of the immobilized asset to repay this loan.
For the option of using the assets, it has not happened. I know you will say
we have agreed to roll over our sanctions against Russia. Our goal is not to prolong the war. In fact, today's decisions are a crucial contribution to achieve a just and lasting peace in Ukraine. Because the only way to bring Russia to the negotiation table is to strengthen Ukraine.
Build a website you love with Wix.
Okay, that is somewhere. I can't remember where it was. One minute. The last one.
Sophisticated, even the FBI didn't see it coming. What happened in the next 6 hours would expose America's darkest secret and change law enforcement forever. This is the story they tried to bury. Until now. Welcome back to Warzone Intel, where we uncover the operations the mainstream won't touch. I'm your host, and today's investigation will shake you to your core. Before we dive in, I need to know, are you ready for the truth? Drop a yes in the comments right now, because what you're about to hear, there's no going back. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because this channel is your frontline to stories like this, raw, real, and relentless. Now let's begin.
Yep, you too, Wade.
Planted bombs. He taunted officers to come down the hall.
Wait a minute.
Please don't go. Don't beat me up, man. Listen, don't get on that.
I can show you what you want. I can show you.
4:02 a.m. FBI hostage rescue team, ICE HSI, and Detroit SWAT converged from 4 entry points. Radio silence, night vision, and a clock ticking. Because intelligence suggested a shipment was leaving at dawn, the first door came down in 3 seconds. What they found inside stopped even veteran agents cold. A corridor, 40 feet long. Both walls lined with numbered doors, 1 through 24. Each door locked from the outside. Behind door number 7, agents found 6 children sitting in complete darkness, ages 5 to 14. They didn't scream. They didn't run. They just sat there, waiting for instructions. One agent later told investigators it was like they'd been trained to be invisible. But this wasn't chaos. This was precision. Color-coded wristbands. Purple, yellow, orange. Each color mapped to a different interstate route. Yellow meant Ohio. Purple meant Pennsylvania. Orange meant out of the country. On a whiteboard, investigators found departure schedules cross-referenced with state police shift changes. Someone inside this operation knew exactly when law enforcement patrols were thinnest, and before you think this was some isolated operation, listen to this. In a locked office, agents recovered spreadsheets tracking 327 individual cases across 9 states. Names, ages, medical records, delivery locations. This wasn't trafficking. This was inventory management. But while agents were securing the main building, something was happening 200 yards away. A second warehouse. 3 cargo vans. Engines already running. ICE units intercepted the convoy at the perimeter fence. What happened next was captured on body cameras. Van 1 rammed through the gate, pursued by 2 federal vehicles. Van 2's driver abandoned it and fled on foot into a drainage tunnel. Van 3 crashed into a concrete barrier. When agents opened the rear doors, they found 23 children packed inside. No ventilation. No water. Some unconscious, the youngest was 3 years old. Tactical teams moved through the facility like surgical instruments. Flashbangs shattered the silence as they cleared room after room. In one chamber, agents discovered a makeshift medical station. Syringes filled with sedatives. Rubber gloves scattered across a folding table. And small plastic cups lined up in rows, each marked with a number, not a name. In the eastern section of the warehouse, a steel staircase led to an observation deck overlooking the entire operation. From this vantage point, supervisors could monitor every movement below. Agents found notebooks filled with coded entries, shift rotations written in shorthand, and a laminated map showing safe transport corridors across the Midwest. 1 page caught investigators' attention. A list of upcoming deliveries with corresponding price points. The numbers ranged from $30,000 to $80,000. Next to each figure was a single word: premium, standard, or clearance. They were categorizing children like merchandise. Behind a false wall in the supervisor's office, federal agents uncovered something that changed the entire investigation. A safe containing 3 external hard drives, 2 burner phones, and a manila folder labeled authorized access. Inside were photocopies of law enforcement duty rosters, federal inspection schedules, and highway patrol coverage maps. Someone had been feeding operational intelligence directly to the traffickers. While extraction teams evacuated the children, FBI cyber forensics cracked open the operations server. And what they found rewrote everything investigators thought they knew: client lists, payment histories, and a chat log that made agents physically ill. I can't read it to you, and trust me, you don't want me to. But here's what I can tell you: this network had been operating for 7 years. It had customers in 14 states. And the average transaction was $50,000 per child. But here's where it gets darker. Buried in those files was a folder labeled Safe Windows, times when law enforcement presence was minimal. Shift schedules. Patrol routes. Court dates for officers. Someone with access to federal databases was feeding intel to traffickers. By 9 a.m., FBI Internal Affairs had 3 suspects in custody. By noon, 2 had confessed. One was a contractor with access to DHS systems. The other was a retired state trooper. Let me ask you something, and I want honest answers in the comments. Do you believe corruption at this level is rare or just rarely exposed? Because after covering these stories for 3 years, I can tell you, this isn't the exception. It's the pattern. January 14, 2024. Detroit's Industrial Corridor. While the city slept, federal agents were tracking something that didn't exist on any official map. For 3 months, FBI cyber analysts had been monitoring encrypted payment chains, cryptocurrency flowing through shell companies, all converging on a single location, Sector 7 Industrial Park. But here's what they didn't expect. Thermal imaging from surveillance drones showed 97 heat signatures inside a building marked permanently vacant since 2019. And here's the question I want you to answer in the comments. How does a vacant building consume more power than a hospital? The investigation began when a single Bitcoin transaction triggered an automated alert at FBI headquarters. The amount, $127,000, was wired through a digital wallet linked to a dissolved LLC in Nevada. Analysts traced the funds backward through 7 shell companies, each registered in a different state, before hitting a dead end at an encrypted server farm in Eastern Europe. But someone made a mistake. One transaction included metadata that revealed a physical IP address. And that address pointed to an industrial complex in Detroit that officially didn't exist on any commercial registry. Surveillance began immediately. For 11 days, undercover agents watched the location from concealed positions. What they observed sent the case to the highest priority level. Delivery trucks arrived only at night. Always between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. Always with blacked out windows. And always staying for exactly 40 minutes before departing. On the 12th night, a thermal drone captured something that made the operation commander give the green light for immediate action. Multiple small heat signatures moving in organized patterns inside the structure. Too many to be staffed. Too coordinated to be random. The order came through at 3:30 a.m., execute the raid at first light. By 7 a.m., all 184 children were accounted for. Medical teams worked through the day. Psychologists arrived from 6 different states. And then the reunions began. A mother from Cleveland who hadn't seen her daughter in 9 months walked into the crisis center. Her daughter was sitting with a trauma counselor, holding a stuffed dog someone had given her. The girl looked up, blinked once, and whispered, "Mommy?" That moment. That's why these agents do what they do. Emergency medical personnel established a triage station in the parking lot. Children were evaluated for dehydration, malnutrition, and injuries. Some had bruises in various stages of healing. Others showed signs of prolonged psychological trauma, vacant stares, mechanical responses, and inability to make eye contact. One little boy, approximately 6 years old, asked a medic if he was allowed to drink water without permission. Another child flinched when a female agent reached out to comfort her. A teenager sat silently for 3 hours before finally speaking, asking only one question: "Are you taking us to another place?" Federal counselors documented behaviors that suggested systematic conditioning. Children who wouldn't eat until given explicit permission. Kids who stood in formation automatically when adults entered the room. And several who referred to themselves only by numbers, having forgotten or been forced to abandon their real names. But justice doesn't stop at rescue. Within 72 hours, 47 suspects arrested across 8 states. $4.2 million in assets seized. 12 shell companies shut down. 3 international warrants issued. The ringleader? A logistics coordinator who'd been using legitimate shipping routes to move children hidden among freight cargo. He's now facing 600 years in federal prison. Coordinated raids hit locations simultaneously across Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Indiana, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Illinois, and Michigan. Federal agents seized laptops containing encrypted communications between network operators. Financial records revealed a sophisticated money laundering operation funneling profits through cryptocurrency exchanges and offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands. One arrested suspect, a warehouse manager from Toledo, broke during interrogation and provided details that opened 3 additional investigations. He described a recruitment system that targeted vulnerable families through fake job postings and fraudulent social services. Children were separated from parents under the pretense of temporary housing assistance, then disappeared into the network within 48 hours. But here's what keeps federal agents awake at night. This operation in Detroit? It was one hub in a network that spans the entire country. For every location they shut down, intelligence suggests 3 more are operating right now: highways, hotels, truck stops, even residential neighborhoods. These networks hide in plain sight. So I'm going to tell you the same thing FBI community liaisons tell every audience. If you see something that doesn't feel right, kids who look scared, adults who won't let them speak, movement patterns that seem off, don't ignore it. The National Human Trafficking Hotline is 1-888-373-7888. That number has saved lives. So let me ask you one final question before you go. Now that you know this is happening, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to scroll past?
Video?
Or are you going to be part of the awareness that shuts these networks down? If this story made you feel something, don't let that feeling fade. Hit that like button so YouTube pushes this to more people. Share it. Because
Oh, I was sharing it. It's all about the children. It's all about the kids. Okay. If I don't see you over the weekend, I don't know how many people get not working next week, but I'll be on all weekend, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and taking Thursday off. So tomorrow will be 5, unless something happens. God bless everybody. Remember, please hit the like and subscribe. And stay safe, stay strong, keep the faith, and never give up. Signing off. And thanks, Kay, and signing off, Chico, and no, until tomorrow, and another night of intel. I'll see you all tomorrow evening.